Welcome to this online lecture on numerical methods by Professor Tanuja Endati from Electrical Engineering Department, Kekewag Institute of Engineering Education and Research, Nasik. This lecture is based on Lagrange interpolation from Unit 3. Lagrange interpolation is used mainly for interpolating from the given data points which may not be equally spaced. This is applicable for all types of data points, and the interpolation means we are trying to find a value of the function from the given data table at the unknown point, but it is lying in the range of the data points which are available in the table, but not directly available. So this is called as polynomial interpolation. And if we have n plus 1 data points, we can find out a function, we can fix a function of order n which is passing through these n plus data points. And so this interpolating polynomial can be used for finding out the function value at any unknown data points in the range of data point which is given in the table. So Lagrange interpolation is useful and it is quite accurate method for interpolation. The function which we are fixing can be found out by calculating the summation of the functions which we calculate as Li of x multiplied by f of xi. Now this f of xi, this function value will be available in the given data tables, whereas this constant which we are trying to calculate, Li of x, needs to be evaluated. And this is called as Lagrange's constant. Now how this Lagrange's constant can be calculated for all data points which are starting from I equal to 0 to n. These are n plus 1 data points from 0 to n. Now for finding out this Lagrange's weights which we are calculating, Li of x, this is called as a weighing function. It can be calculated as the product of x minus xj divided by xi minus xj for all data points, except for the data point for which we are calculating the weighing function. So I not equal to j, this term should be understood. So except for same values of I and j, this function needs to be evaluated as weighing function for each data point. Okay. Now in expression, it is difficult to understand this, how it can be done, but we can understand it clearly if we take the details of these expressions. So when we are interpolating using Lagrange's polynomial, we can find out this polynomial as fn of x in terms of the weighing function which we calculate for each data point, which is ranging from j equal to 0 to n, multiplied by associated function value which is from the data table. So we would be given the data points in the form of x0 to xn and the function values for each of these x points. So function values ranging from fx0 to fxn. These data points will be available and we would be required to calculate or fix a function in general form at x at any general point x in the range of x0 to xn. Now let us understand how these factors are calculated. This weighing function is written as we said, the unknown data point which is x minus the first data point x0 multiplied by x minus maybe x1 multiplied by x minus x2 and so on. But in the numerator, we need to understand that all these differences are calculated except for I equal to j. Okay. In the denominator, all we have to do is for whichever value we are calculating this weighing function, that j needs to be replaced in the same factors and x instead of x we will be writing it as xj. So now the differences are calculated as xj minus x0. You can see it is repetition of the same factor. X minus xj minus 1 becomes xj minus xj minus 1, and so on. So once we write the numerator factors, it is easy to write the denominator factors by just replacing x with xg. Okay, let us take example and see. Suppose we are calculating L weighing function for the first data point, which is L0. So xp is the unknown data point, xp minus x1. Now we are not taking, because j is 0, we are not taking I as 0. So x0 point is not considered. I equal to j, this data point cannot be considered. So except I equal to 0, we will take all remaining data points. And so it is written as xp minus x1, xp minus x2 into xp minus xn, all data points. In the denominator, we have to look at for which value we are calculating the weighing function. So j equal to 0, we can replace it as x0 minus x1, x0 minus x2, similarly x0 minus xn. Okay, again we can check for now j equal to 1. So I equal to 1 means x1 data point will not be considered in the numerator. I'm sorry, this should have been equal. Okay, so xp, the unknown data point, minus x0, xp minus, now x1 is omitted, directly x2 is taken because j is 1 and we cannot take I equal to j, right? So x1 in the numerator is not taken. Now you can see in the denominator, now we are taking x1 minus x0, x1 minus x2. We can also remember that in case we write xp minus x1 here by mistake, in the denominator when we write, it becomes x1 minus x1. And so it becomes 0. So division by 0 is never permitted. And so that is a point when we can realize that we have made a mistake. Okay, so like this, we can calculate all the weighing functions and then we can replace it for taking summation of L0 fx0 plus L1 fx1 for all the data points to obtain the polynomial function which we are trying to fix to the given data points. Then when we put x equal to any data point, we can evaluate the function at that point. Okay, that is called as interpolation. Now suppose this is a set of data which is given. This is again a repetition. x1, y1, x2, y2, xn, yn are the data points which are available, where x1 not equal to x2 not equal to xn, because these should not be repeated points. They should be distinct data points. Now same y function, which is y of x, which we are trying to calculate, is written in the form of x is the unknown data point, x minus the first data point x1 is not considered. So x minus x2, x minus x3, x minus xn divided by x1 minus x2, x1 minus x3, it is getting multiplied by y1. So this becomes our first factor which should be added with similar such second factor. This is a weighing function multiplied by the function value. Okay. So going back, if we see this is weighing function multiplied by the function value, such products should be added. This is the summation of j equal to 0. So we can take L0 fx0, L1 fx1 plus L2 fx2 plus L3 fx3 and so on. So to move ahead, this is again the same thing explained once more, and in short it can be written as summation of data points from say 1 to n, where the product is considered for j equal to 1 to n but j not equal to k. Sometimes ij or jk, any two suffixes can be used, and since this is a combined, but following this, remembering this in this form, first you have to understand the expansion, how it is calculated. Then this symbolic representation also surely helps. Now let us take one example. Okay, suppose the given data points are x and y, where y is the function of x, as 5, 6, 9, 11, we can realize that these are unevenly distributed data points. Okay, but for Lagrange interpolation, there is no such rule. Any kind of data points can be used. So they may be evenly spaced, they may be unevenly spaced data points. Corresponding function values are given as 12, 13, 14, 16, and we are interested in calculating y of 10. Now, as we said, this 10, x equal to 10, this data point is not directly available in the given data table, but it is in the range of data, x data points, which are from 5 to 11. So we call it interpolation. Sometimes when this point is lying outside the scope of this x range, we call it extrapolation. Okay, there is slight difference between interpolation and extrapolation. Right now we are saying interpolation, so it has to be in the range of x data points which are available from 5 to 11. Okay, now this we have to use Lagrange's interpolation. Since we have 4 data points, we will be writing 4 such factors for each function value which is available, multiplied by the weighing function which we are calculating. Now, assuming that we call these data points as x0, x1, x2, x3, we will be calling this as y0, y1, y2, y3. Okay, so let us see how the function at unknown data point is written. Unknown data point minus x1, unknown data point minus x2. Now pay attention that we are not taking x minus x0 term. Okay, x minus x0 is not calculated because this is the first weighing function calculated for the first data point to be multiplied with first value of given function value, which is y0. So x0 is avoided in the numerator. Unknown data point minus x1, minus x2, minus x3 are the 3 factors, divided by, now for which this is the first weighing function for x0 data point. So we are taking x0 minus x1, x0 minus x2, x0 minus x3. Same factors which we have written in the numerator, only we are replacing x with x0. Again, I am repeating, take note that by mistake, if we write x minus x0 initially, in the denominator it would become x0 minus x0. Okay, so this factor would become 0 and all the value becomes division by 0 because this is a multiplication. Okay, so this is a point at which we should be careful and we can remember it. Okay, multiplied by first data point, which is 12. Second, now we are looking at this data point. So we will be considering x1 as the x minus x0, x minus x2, x minus x3 divided by, now it is for x1 point. So x1 minus x0, x1 minus x2, x1 minus x3. This weighing function must be multiplied by the second value, which is y1. Okay, can we now cross check? So now we have understood for the third data point. Now it is x2 which we will be considering. So x minus x0, x minus x1, we are not writing x minus x2 but directly x minus x3 divided by x2 minus x0, x2 minus x1, x2 minus x3 multiplied by y2, which is this value. And the last function we will be writing as x minus x0, x minus x1, x minus x2. Now we are excluding x3 data point. In the denominator, the difference will be taken from x3 minus x0, x3 minus x1, x3 minus x2. And this is multiplied by y3. So this equation which we have written is including the weighing functions and the corresponding data points which are given as y values. Okay. Now I have replaced the values of given data points. So x1 would be replaced as 6, x2 is replaced as 9, x3 is replaced as 11 in this factor. Whereas in the denominator, this is for the first data point, so our x0 point is 5. So it becomes 5 minus 6, 5 minus 6, 5 minus 11. I'm sorry, this should have been 9 here. Okay, there is a mistake. This 6 should have been 9. Okay, so make a correction here. This is a 5 minus 9, 5 minus 11 multiplied by 12. Next value is x minus 5, x minus 9, x minus 11. Same should be repeated for the second data point, which is 6 minus 5, 6 minus 9, 6 minus. Here again mistake. This should have been 11. Whatever is in the numerator should be repeated in the denominator. Okay. So this is one mistake. This is second mistake. Third factor, x minus 5, x minus 6, x minus 11, because it is for third data point. In the denominator, now data point is 9, 9 minus 5, 9 minus 6, 9 minus 11, correct? Multiplied by 14. And the last factor is x minus 5, x minus 6, x minus 9 divided by the unknown data point. The value is x will be 11. So it will be 11 minus 5, 11 minus 6, 11 minus 9 multiplied by 16. Okay, so we can make two corrections, one here and one here. Now when we put the unknown data point x equal to 10, okay, this is a generalized form, whereas we can put x equal to 10 and we can check what is the value of this function when we put x equal to 10. Now this value can be cross-verified. Okay, so let us check. When we put x equal to 10, this becomes 10 minus 6, 4, 10 minus 9, 1, 10 minus 11, minus 1. In the denominator, here it is corrected. 10 minus 6, 5 minus 6, I'm sorry, minus 1, 5 minus 9. This should have been minus 9. So here it should be minus 3. No, minus 4 is correct. And 5 minus 11 is minus 6. So here it is corrected already. This is a mistake here. Okay, in the second factor, 10 minus 5 is 5, 10 minus 9 is 1. Here it is minus 1. In the denominator, it is 1, minus 3, and this should be minus 5 because this should have been minus 11. This is correct into 13. Similarly, remaining two factors are also calculated by putting x equal to 10, and we get the final answer, which is 14.6663. Right? Okay, so while calculating, we should be careful while calculating the weighing functions and then evaluating the function at any unknown data point. Now in this table, it is also possible we evaluated it at 10, but any intermediate value is possible. We can try evaluating it at 7 and we can check if we get value between these two data points. Okay, you can realize this is 10 is between 9 and 11 somewhere here. But surely this is not a linear function, and so we cannot simply take average of these two and calculate. Otherwise it should have come 15. Okay, but actual value is 14.6663. Because we can realize this is the order of this polynomial function which we are obtaining, f of x, is n when we have n plus 1 data points. Right? So if we simply open these brackets, we realize that there are 4 data points and we get the function which is having order x cube here. Okay? So this is the third order polynomial expression which we have fixed to the given data point, ensuring all these data points are on the function. And so we can say the value of 10 also would be lying as the function is continuous from 5 to 11. Is it clear? Okay, so this is how Lagrange's interpolation works. Okay, we can also have some more practice problems. But prior to that, we can also understand that these numerical methods are approximate methods. And so for improving their accuracy, if we decide to improve this result, to improve the accuracy of this result, if we decide to add one more data point in this, the Lagrange's interpolation suffers from a difficulty that entire calculation needs to be done again. Suppose we have right now 4 data points and we have calculated value of y of 10. Okay. Suppose I think I get one more data point or 2 more data points. Even when I add one more data point here, assuming I get a function value at x equal to 12, and I say it is some value which is maybe 17 or 18, and I decide again to calculate y of 10. Now in this case, any of the previous calculations which we have done cannot be reconsidered or reused as it is, because then if we add one data point, each of this factor needs to be re-evaluated by considering one more factor in the numerator as well as denominator, and so its value needs to be changed. So in this case, for improving accuracy, if we decide to add more data points, the same previous calculation cannot be used, and so it becomes very cumbersome or troublesome to repeat the entire calculation again. Okay, with the use of computers it may be possible, but manually it really becomes very difficult to have all the calculations done once again. So this is a limitation of Lagrange interpolation, though it is useful for evenly as well as unevenly distributed data points. Okay, so this is a drawback or limitation of Lagrange interpolation. Okay. In the practice problems, I will just tell you how to solve this problem. Okay, we are given again 4 data points. They are not evenly distributed, and the corresponding function values are given as 2, 3, 12, and 147. So we will be calling them as x0, x1, x2, x3, and corresponding values as y0, y1, y2, y3. Now we also have option that we can choose to calculate the weighing factor for each data point, x data point separately. Suppose I decide to calculate L0 separately. We can calculate L0 as L0 equal to, we will be writing x minus 1 into x minus 2 into x minus 5, where I have not considered 0 value, divided by 0 minus 1, 0 minus 2, 0 minus 5 as the first weighing factor. Okay. So you can also have L0, L1, L2, L3 as 4 weighing factors calculated separately. And then you can assemble the function saying L0 multiplied by Y0 plus L1 multiplied by Y1 plus L2 multiplied by 12, which is Y3, and Y2, Y0, Y1, Y2, and L3 multiplied by Y3, which will give us the general form of Y. Now when we put x equal to 4 in the expression, we can directly evaluate y of 4. Okay, so we can try calculating it like this, and you can verify what is the value of y of 4. Y of 4 would be lying somewhere between these two values. We can check that. There are 2 more problems which I have included in this for practice. Now these are evenly distributed data points, but no matter, we can still use Lagrange's interpolation for calculating the profit in the year 2000. Now you can see that 2000 is the unknown data point and we can calculate the profit here. And the third problem which I have included in which the function expression is given as e raised to x. Okay, so nature of function is known as e raised to x, but still the data points are available and we are asked to calculate the function value at 2.25. Now what is different in this? That you have a scope of calculating first using Lagrange polynomial the value at 2.25, and you can compare this value with actually putting x equal to 2.25 in the expression e raised to 2.25. You can try calculating the error which is associated with the calculated value from Lagrange's polynomial. Okay, so you can also revisit your concepts of error calculation and error analysis, and not to forget that all these methods, they are numerical methods. They try to give you results which are with minimum error, but still you can, this is a direct expression, so you may have small error associated with the result. Okay, so to sum up, Lagrange interpolation can be used for evenly and unevenly distributed data points. We can interpolate the function at any unknown data point in the range of given x values in the table, and so we call it interpolation. It is extremely powerful method, but it has a limitation that for improving the accuracy of result, if we decide to add more data points, the entire calculation needs to be done again. No previous calculation can be useful as it is. Okay, so with this we close. I hope you have understood Lagrange interpolation. Thank you.